Hello everyone and welcome back. It's the final day here at the GGBet Chicago Invitational. Today we will send one team to IEM Chicago and the rest will fall short. We've got Heroic coming up first, and they're a team that have been probably looking like one of the strongest rosters in here, really only rivaled by fours.
Yeah, they're kind of one of the very few teams that haven't completely had a collapse in one of their series so far, which is a good sign for them. They've also had just a really good track record of doing pretty hot in these kind of invitationals. They won the Sydney one, and they seem just to be doing better just in general than what they have been in quite some time. So it's cool to see that the kind of new look lineup from Heroic is working out this way.
Indeed, their opponent will be Windigo, and they've been up and down, but they took a win against Hellraisers yesterday.
Yeah, a very big one at that. They really turned things around towards the end of the game, end of the series. So see Train and Vertigo being vetoed out. That makes sense from both sides. Train is not a map that Heroic plays too much. Mirage and Overpass is where we're headed. And I guess with Windigo's performance versus Hellraisers yesterday, that kind of makes sense. They looked like, I guess, one of the better maps from them out of that series. Overpass for Heroic makes sense too. Dust is taken out, which leaves us with a potential nuke matchup. And that has me a little bit worried for Windigo. I'll be honest. But I guess, this is Heroic having the choice of playing Inferno or Nuke. That it's always going to end up on Nuke, I think, in that kind of scenario when you have a Danish team.
Yeah, when you look at these three maps, though, I think all three of them are pretty good for Heroic, right? Because
really good.
We've seen them play well in their opening matchups on Mirage. They absolutely walked through the opening matchup, went on to play Optic, obviously looking strong there as well.
Yeah.
They obliterated Optic on this map.
Yeah, I feel like Blame F obliterated anyone he ran up against on Mirage. And that's a great sign for Heroic. They've been playing really well. So even though just statistically their win rate isn't the greatest, they're also going up against a lot of tier 1 opponents. As you said, they've been making it through to these premier tournaments a lot of the time, and yeah, they might fall short in group stage or something to that effect, but again, still, like, they're going up against top class opposition, and that's probably why we're seeing, I guess, not the crazy 70% win rate that we see with some of these teams in the Invitational.
Yeah, exactly. We're starting to see Heroic really start to rise to this roster. They're pretty much, it feels like they're at pretty much every big ESL event, because they're at ESL 1 Cologne as well coming up. This is a chance to get there to IEM Chicago, and they'd love to try and continue that and actually have a good performance at one of these events. Yeah,
and it feels like they're edging closer to it bit by bit as we see Heroic picking up the knife as well. So they get the choice of side, which is going to be great for them. We saw them having a superb CT side when they played against Optic in their best of 3 series. Last time we saw them play, it's been a while. They've had some days to practice. That's, I guess, the benefit of qualifying directly to the semifinals. So I just expect to see more from where they left off, more so.
Exactly, but the only thing is, hopefully that little break is not allowed Blame F to cool down, because he was on another level. He's a top-rated player in the entire tournament, so obviously having a great show. I think he has like a 1.5 rating across 4 maps.
Yeah,
so
he's been wild.
That's pretty nuts.
Yeah, no, he's been nuts, and especially in Mirage, and we've seen in a myriad of ways, right? It hasn't necessarily just been locking down a single bomb site, but he's been active, with the aggressive mid pushes that we've seen on the CT side out of Heroic. He's been pretty much everywhere you needed him to be. Now he's going to get a little bit of a different challenge, obviously. In the Optic game, they go up against a team that doesn't necessarily, well, they have a dedicated operator in MSL, but he's not necessarily the most, I guess, flicky operator. He's not going to have those wow rounds most of the time. He's going to be a stable guy who can get you opening kills. Now they have to eye out what they're going to do with Poison. And Poison yesterday, well, at least towards the very end of it, got really, really into it. He probably had the craziest round of all of yesterday in that pistol round versus Hellraisers. We'll see if we can recreate some of that magic, but here we go into the first round of the first semifinals.
Well, it is Heroic on that CT side. Windigo will be on the T side. 4 sets of Kevlar available to the T side itself. And a little bit of utility for Bubble, but what a start from Esetai. 1 tap going in towards the ramp. He will be finished off. And Blame F, of course, the double kill coming in. A great start from Blame F. Finally dispatched by Victor, but the advantage is still there with Heroic.
Oh, nice shot from Bubble there. That's going to equalize things, and Bomb's going to go down. There is a kit on Freiburg, and they also have surprising amounts of utility left. Might see a double nade here. Did they not spot anyone under? No, haven't seen anyone under balcony. Now they have. One of the nades is gone already. One comes in, and he picks up the second one as well. Won't do any damage, though. Nice double peek from Windigo there.
Yeah, that's really well recovered from Bubble in particular. With 3 kills coming in. That was actually something that was a bit of a strange factor for Windigo yesterday. It was actually Victor and Bubble who were leading the way quite some time on the Windigo side. And generally, you don't really look to the old guard to do that anymore.
No, Victor had one hell of a map on Inferno. As we see the odds for the first map here, brought to you by GT.bet. Heroic favored here at 1.6, Windigo at 2.23, and I guess that's what you can expect. You would favor Heroic in this best of 3 series, and I think on Mirage as well. That's just par for the course. Ooh, S-Tag with a golden opportunity to find an opening. Misses the shot though. So that's going to be blocker to find Freiburg.
Well, Windigo had a couple of problems against Nordic teams yesterday in these kind of runs, so hopefully they can recover well. Got the first kill already. So coming in towards top connector, but Natosafix will be waiting for the rest of Windigo to arrive at the A bomb site. And I hope to deliver some nasty headshots with Windigo.
S-Tag's so close of actually getting connection. Not gonna find anything just yet. That will be eventually a B hit here. Stavin with a lot to do. So it's gonna be Blame F to find the first kill on the side of Heroic.
Well, Poison with a headshot. Blame F finished off, and it's Natosafix and S-Tag. They have got Kevlar.
And I think that's why we're seeing them bail out early on as well. They want to bring this into the next round. They can still do some damage, and again, holding on to Scout, pretty big for them. Nato is going to fall. So is S-Tag. Pretty solid round from Poison. And again, we've seen him be very hit and miss so far in this Invitational. It can be absolutely stunning, and it can be rather anonymous in a fair few of the games that Windigo play, but it seems like he's gotten off to the right start now.
Well, Heroic, not too much to work with in this one whatsoever, apart from Blame F and the Deagle.
Yeah, he's got a lot of money left over as well. You'd imagine he drops over an op for S-Tag. As we've seen, it's been S-Tag to op most of the time, really, for Heroic. Natosafix every now and again picks up the secondary op. That is if Heroic decide to go out with an op early on here in the CT side. Ships has already made his way into the B bomb site, which was completely vacated by Heroic. And again, it's going to be blocker to open things up. This is more just Windigo going through the motion. Ships has already cleared out the entirety of the B bomb site, so you can see the bomb is slowly making its way over there. But Freiburg, okay, gets the Deagle connection. That's going to allow him some space in towards B as well, but he might not be early enough. Okay. Bubble's already slipped fast, and Poison's going to quickly decapitate him, and the bomb's going to go down for Windigo. Should be the third round on the board.
Well, good start for Windigo. No hiccups coming in just yet. I mean, they very could have easily lost that pistol. Blame F had a stellar start into it, but well, recovered from Bubble, and that's given them 3 rounds pretty much. So you should be happy with the start that they've got here on Mirage. S-Tag's just hoping he can get an exit here, and he might just get one. But Poison coming around the corner has an idea. And there's the shots being landed. The kill eventually coming in as well. And a 3-0 start here for Windigo. We get to see the buy come in from Heroic into the next one. And that should be the first challenge Windigo's had to face here.
Yeah. Curious to see what Heroic opt, if they're going to go full on rifles or if we're going to have an op in there. If so, it's going to have to be dropped from Blame F, most likely. Time will tell. As you said, the map pool for this series, Mirage, Overpass, and potentially Nuke as a third. I'd say I'd favor Heroic on all of these. It is curious to see what Windigo can do to put up a fight here. Started off on the right foot at the very least, and there will be an op on S-Tag.
Well, open Poison as well. We'll see if they can have a stellar battle, but there's a gap in the smoke to play with for S-Tag, and he's just going to take that. And Poison, if he walks out in the middle, he's going to have a really fast aim here because S-Tag isn't in the most conventional position either.
It definitely isn't. We're making sure that Underpass is the place to initiate contact, and yeah, S-Tag's going to get off the angle at just the wrong moment, so he's going to miss out on a chance to get an opening for them. That's mid-control gained. This is something we've seen from Heroic in the past as well, though. They don't necessarily, while they do have aggressive setups for mid to disturb any sort of mid takes from the T side, they feel perfectly comfortable playing passive as well.
Well, a slower approach coming in. Windigo, they leave one player in middle, while the rest relocate in towards the A side of the map. One up in Palace, the rest in ramp, and BliMF, he'll be the closest man to this approach, and Essetag back inside of CT. Poison looks to be the front man, trying to find the opening, and there it is, onto Essetag. That's AWP gone, and BliMF. Molotov's coming in, but the flashbang is good. Not good enough, though, as Victor and Bubble come in, and it's all on Stown and Freiburg, and I think it's the save call again. So Windigo up 4-0.
Really hot start for the Bulgarian team now. Again, it's Poison to open things up. He's already sitting at 9 frags.
Yeah, that's a good sign, right?
Yeah, it's a really good sign for Windigo.
Especially since he can be so vacant, but oh, well, Chips, he's going to get dropped by Stown, and at least they look like they are trying to hold on to the weapons, but Poison, he's hungry for this. He wants to throw away his AWP. That's a bit interesting. Freiburg will take him away, and good damage down here from Heroic.
Yeah, that's a little bit more expensive than you'd like to see out of Windigo. They will have the opportunity to buy up another AWP here, but now you're giving Freiburg a chance to pick one up for Essetag as well. He's going to do just that. I'm assuming Bubble or Victor is going to drop one over. There we go. Windigo, I mean, they don't necessarily feel it right now, the loss of that AWP and the extra damage taken, but could play a significant part later on in the round once Heroic start putting rounds up. Tag. No utility, just straight up AWP Kevlar. Misses out on the first shot through it, and well, Victor had a good Inferno. Looks like he's feeling it early on here on Mirage too. This is kind of the scary part about the Windigo side, for how up and down they can be. When everyone's feeling it, they become a completely different team.
Yeah, that's really the common storyline we've talked about, right? It's like, okay, if the Windigo that turns up is here, then it's hard to call. But if they are the flat Windigo, then it's certainly easy to call.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's the team that we want to see. It's the team with all the individuals showing up so far at the beginning of Mirage. But again, that's super volatile. It's like the weather here in Ukraine. It can change very quickly.
We've had everything from tropic weather to, I guess, tropic rainstorms. BliMF only good for one. Windigo is still feeling pretty decent about their situation until Bubble goes down. Tries to see if he can find some sort of reaction after his teammates go down in mid, but Essetag is ready for it. And, well, seem to be aware of the fact that Chips could have made it through to spawn as well, but he's going to win out the duel. Question is now, though, where does he go from this point on? And where's Victor going to take the bomb? Oh, wrong angle to take versus Freiburg as he pushes forward, and that leaves Victor with 29 HP. Won a lot of 1v2 clutches yesterday, but bit of a different story now.
Yeah, with 20 seconds as well on the clock, he's got to find the bomb site. And not a whole lot of time to check any corners, and he's taking his time. Eventually they have to commit to it, and as soon as he hears that bomb plant, the player will be running in towards him. 7 seconds. This has to be the commit. Sticking the bomb, the player's starting to run in now. It's going to be the swarm from Freiburg. There's the headshot, there's the run win, but at least the bomb plant comes in.
Yeah. All in all, Victor, I guess, getting the most out of that situation he could have, and he's just going to allow for NATO Safix here to pick up the AWP Freiburg before he starts the defuse. And Heroic finally with a round posted. Could potentially get a secondary AWP as well here. If they find poisons. They saw it, didn't pick it up though. I guess for the time being, we'll see them just having that one AWP on Essetag. Has yet to really find too much of an impact with it. Obviously the kill onto Bubble there in that previous round swung things in their favor. But Essetag has definitely been one that he's been one of the riflers to make the transition to become a full-time AWPer, who's had way more success than you'd imagine. Normally it's riflers having a pretty good week or two, or perhaps 3, once they make that transition, to just have pretty significant drop-off, just due to how a rifler's playstyle doesn't really lend itself necessarily to AWPing. He's made the transition pretty decently.
Well, BliMF up on top, but Essetag will take the kill on the poison, and really making that AWP work as he falls back towards CT. It's the advantage collective for Heroic. And if they manage to sort of build up a little bit of momentum for themselves here. Start to string a few together. This hot start from Windigo can quickly turn very cold. We've seen a lot of teams just snatch it away from them. And Heroic have probably been on par with Fours. You know, probably the most consistent team. You know, if they start well, they generally play well across the entire series.
That's very true. NATO is going to win out the duel, and Stavin chips in with a kill onto Victor. So all of a sudden it goes from a 4v4 to a 2v4. B-bomb site still has been vacated for the time being and might actually lead to a bomb plant here. See, Freiburg again going to get aggressive, and he denies it too. Nice pickup from him. And Freiburg, yeah, he's feeling sharp right now. 7 kills to his name already.
Pretty much every time I watch Mirage, though, Freiburg literally, it looks like he's rolling back the years. Towards that B-bomb site, he just has great performances, it seems, quite consistently. So, really nice to see. And that's kind of why, to me, it makes sense why Windigo would pick it, but it's also pretty scary because we've seen Heroic play Mirage already in this tournament a couple of times, and both times have looked very good on it.
That's very true. I mean, if you look over at the map pool, it's not like Windigo have that much of a leg up on most of the maps. I think Inferno probably would have been their best shot at it, but again, I mean, Heroic are going to go through this Vito's process with it, you know, having done their due diligence and understanding what they need to remove in order to have the best chance of winning.
And obviously Windigo have had to play a lot more recently. I mean, they probably we've got, you know, maybe 70 at our sleep, if all things considered. They have a very long game yesterday. So they're straight into another one. Heroic have had a couple of days to practice.
Just fine-tune the machinery.
Yeah. Even just watch Windigo yesterday.
He connects to do a little bit of damage. Oh, NATO nearly gets caught out by Blocker coming out of apps there. He's going to get eventually downed by BlameF, and he's going to follow up with the second 2. This might be the start of BlameF warming up.
Yeah, you don't want to let that get going. If you're Windigo, it can be quite the death machine for them. And while Victor's on 12 HP, plenty of time left for Windigo, but it's not going to be easy to get onto this bomb site.
Yeah, they have one smoke, and that is on Victor as well, so they need to be very careful about where they opt to throw that one. Pretty much every avenue in towards the site is occupied by a Heroic player for the time being. Poison's going to find Stavin, though, and that Molotov forces BlameF out.
That's really well played. That just pulls it right back into a 3v3. 45 seconds still for Windigo as well. Esatag is just looking for a pick over the top of the smoke, but it's not coming in. Ships is going to play with the smoke, and there's the kill on the Esatag. Can he find the follow-up towards CT? The answer is no, as Nido Safix will keep it even. But Windigo, such a great job already just to recover this into a doable position, but Freiburg coming in with a big flank.
Oh, but it looks like Victor's ready for this. He's expecting this to come in.
One bullet from Freiburg is all that's needed, but Victor, if he lands the headshot, it can be very, very quickly done. But look at that from Freiburg. Comes around the corner, headshot comes in, and Nido Safix will sweep up the rest. It's going to be another on the board for Heroic, but again, and a crucially close round there.
Yeah, very well done by Heroic to manage to salvage that. They had every advantage initially. It's a good job of Windigo to be able to find these initial kills. You can see how methodical they were about going about it. Poison getting the first pick onto Stavin and Connector. Followed up with a Molotov to force BlameF out of his position, as we see the updated odds from GD.bet. And it's pretty damn close. And this includes overtime as well. 1.82 in favor of Heroic, 1.91 for Windigo. That's the tag. Finally going to go up against Pistols, and has initially a nice time of it before Poison puts him down.
I kind of feel, as soon as you get the 2, you should be happy with that.
Yeah, but you also feel like once you've gotten the 2, you might as well go for a third, right?
Yeah, you just have to rely on your teammate to get the weapon. There we go. No harm done. So
nice and easy.
4-4, even again. And it seems as though as soon as Heroic have got the weapons into their hands, and they've definitely looked a lot more solid. You know, they had that first hiccup in the first gun round, but since then, it's been well recovered. 4 in a row for Heroic. This is one of the swing rounds, though. Windigo can go back into the lead if they pick this one up.
Now we have yet to see the super aggressive setups from Heroic here in mid. So I guess Tag is going to take that all by his lonesome, and it's working out initially. Finds Victor, but trade is in. Bubble will regain control of the area. Doing some solo as well. Smokes have been deployed, so he's going to get his way up towards Catwalk. But here we go, BlameF with the smart positioning inside of ladder room. Freiburg and Stavin combining to find a lot of frags in quick succession. Just like that, trouncing Windigo, and this has been 5 rounds in a row for Heroic. They're looking pretty impressive now. They've gotten into the groove of things.
Well, you know, Freiburg, again, doing an excellent job of just sort of holding down that B bomb site. Definitely been a step up. If you guys head over to csgo.net, you can use the code Chicago, all caps. This is one of the last days you can do it because it is the last day of the Chicago Invitational. You can get yourself a 30% top up on your bonus and also a chance to win some cool new skins. So make sure you go over to csgo.net. Very simple, easy to remember. And there's going to be an A execute coming in from Windigo. Smoke's coming across. Molotov there as well, but at this point, it'll be Heroic bringing the fight to them. Nidosafix with the early pick towards ramp, although he gets caught with a nade in his hand. He has been finished off with the back 10 of Blocker, and the rest coming on in. BlameF, oh, that's not exactly what you expect to see. BlameF whiffing the spray, not getting a single kill connected. And so Windigo, they have the advantage. And they're actually just going to tuck up tail, fall back away from the A-bomb side, and try and reset.
And I guess the downside here for Windigo is, while it's been nice and dandy to pick up 2 frags and a weapon on Blocker, re-engaging onto any sort of bomb site now is going to be pretty tough. Limited on utility, as you can see. There's 1 flash on Bubble, and that's it. The way they're setting up right now, you might have to imagine that they're going to use Blocker as a bit of a decoy. See if he can do some damage with that weapon and try to draw a rotation over. The defense on the Heroic side is already spread pretty thin. Regardless, it's going to be a pretty tough task for Freiburg, even if it doesn't rotate off to hold this off.
As long as he just tries to delay. He needs at least 1 kill here and not to die immediately after. But Blocker is going to cause some problems, but Stan has found him. And so Freiburg, here comes the rest of the push. He hears the footsteps. He knows they're coming towards him. If he just hides tonight, the bomb plant, only 10 seconds, but Poison picks him up. The bomb plant can come through, and it has to be the 2v3 retake.
I thought Freiburg positioned himself so well there, but somehow Poison spots him.
Oh, no. Well, it's down. He's going to come on in through the kitchen, or the market. Let's try and pick up the headshot at Ship, so take that away, and a recovery from Windigo. So the initial sort of plan was to go in towards the A-bomb site. They source the early kills, then they fall away back, and like you said, you would expect it to be difficult to really catch a bomb site, but Freiburg just gets spotted behind the bench somehow.
Yeah, I'm really curious as to what Poison saw initially, because the first player who drops down on the side of Windigo doesn't see anything at all.
Unless they just sort of preemptively checked it, thinking that's a position that could be a thorn in their
Yeah,
side.
it seemed like the first shot that he gets is a dink, but it's through the wall, and obviously you're going to see blood splatter and whatnot, which eases, well, pretty much gives you confirmation that there is someone there. Nice attack. This is the opportunity to equalize here in mid. So, bit of a tough round incoming for Heroic here, having to fight with a man disadvantage.
It's important for Windigo to win that one as well. I feel like if they hadn't have done so, they might have just saw Heroic build up a stellar lead here on the CT side, but I think it's going to be a back and forth affair, at least for the first half. As Windigo, this could be one of their last buys before they're sent back to a weak one. It's down trying to hold a connector. Players just cross right inside the smoke. He'll check the corner, and Stan wins the fight. I thought for sure Blocker had that one on lockdown, but he couldn't quite get it. And so, Bubble up towards Palace is the man that will have to try and source the trade. There's a player below him underneath the wood. He also has the help of Victor, who's coming in from ramp. But there's the kill from Bubble. BlameF peeks with the flashbang from Freiburg, and it will be a kill coming in from BlameF. So 3v3, BlameF still in this position. It's Bubble getting dropped, but Poison will take away BlameF. But Freiburg is having a grit round, you know, helping his teammates with the flashbangs and also picking up the double. But it's Ships in a 1v2. Headshot coming in onto Freiburg. 1v1 left for Ships, and he has been such a good player for Windigo in this tournament. He's going to try and pull off the clutch again, and there it is. Headshot through the box. Esatag dropped, and it will be 6-5. Windigo back into the lead. And Ships, how many clutches have we seen him win so far on Mirage in particular? I feel like yesterday they could have actually ended up falling out of the tournament against Nordavin if it wasn't for Ships stepping up with a massive 1v2 clutch. Paul's coming in. You have to assume it's here from Heroic.
Yeah, they were looking so hot 5 rounds in a row, and then you go up against probably the easiest round you've had the opportunity to face really in quite some time when you drop the ball, which allows Win to go back in the game and makes your life a whole lot harder, especially with how well some of these individuals on the side of Windigo is playing.
Well, Heroic have gone for the force buy decision, and that has resulted in 1 rifle on BlameF, and 3 SMGs, 1 CZ75 on Esatag. We'll see if this can work for them. BlameF is being sent towards top mid to see if he can open things up. A blocker coming in towards underpass. No one's really going to be able to deal with him too well here. And the trade comes in from Stown, and actually the follow-up, that is massive from Stown. Getting the 2 kills in. BlameF with a top mid frag as well. This is not looking good for Windigo. Bubble needs to do something here, but that shot gives away his position, and NATO Sapphix is close by.
Nicely done from Bubble. He might not be aware of it, but yep, did find NATO Sapphix, but BlameF is going to get a second of the round, and that leaves Poison. He has really been the big performer for Windigo so far in this matchup. This might be a bit of a rough task. He's got a minute to work with, and I think he just wants to really take a bit of an alternative route. Doesn't really seem interested in getting for the going for the bomb just yet. But obviously with this, it's going to be tough for anyone on the side of Heroic to really expect where he's going to come from.
Well, we've had a big clutch from Ships in the last one. Can Poison be the one? The clutches again for Windigo. Certainly going to be difficult as the bomb is not in his possession, and BlameF has just spotted him. So 6-6, a good force buy coming in from Heroic, and I feel like it was a good decision to force buy because it's not like the rounds that they've lost have been bad for them. You know, they've actually had the advantages and they've just lost the clutches. So pretty much every round has already been close, and Heroic certainly looking like a strong side. I think it comes down to Stown really there, getting the double in underpass.
Yeah,
definitely should not have got that. Yeah.
Really turns things around. So while Heroic have been able to, I guess, lose rounds that they weren't necessarily meant to, and also bring one back. So I guess it's all even in the end.
Krieg for Ships, and we've seen him wield that weapon so far in this tournament and be an absolute beast with it. We'll see if he can live up to that here again on the final day. This is the semi-final if you're just tuning in, the first semi-final of the day. We've also got a Heroic taking on Fords later on. They'll be battling for a final spot here in the Chicago Invitational. And of course the grand prize is a spot. I am Chicago, and BlameF is hungry for that spot. He's got the double kill coming right in, and this might just be the beginning of the death machine that is BlameF.
Yeah, there we go, seeming back in familiar territory in top mid.
One kill coming in. SSI will step in with one back, and it's all on blocker. A 1v4 needs to happen, and Freiburg will say no. Heroic, much better there, very clean, and a big performance from BlameF again. So hopefully that is something that they will continue to have, because BlameF is such a pivotal part to their success, and just the aggression straight away towards top mid. They can't really deal with it. They actually line up for him as well as they desperately try to fall back. So they actually make it easier for him.
Well, you know, got to share the care. It's good to be nice and all that. But Heroic now in a prime position to win out the first half at the very least. Could secure their 8th here. It's not the most terrifying of buys from the side of Windigo. They have a scout on poison. Outside of that, just pistols really to work with. The smokes are going to go out towards the B bomb site. But I mean, with enough pace here, they might be able to shake the foundations of Heroic. There's only 2 players there. The rotation is a little bit off. Actually, I say that. Blame F smelled blood in the water after going top mid last round. This might just be the perfect call, and he's actually going to find the bomb through the wall. Victor has been taken down significantly, but yeah, the bomb being dropped so early, that does stagger everything. And Blame F just continues on his rampage from underpass.
Well, poison. He's the last man standing. Scout in hand, spotted and dropped. Just easy stuff here for Heroic in the last couple of rounds, 3 in a row.
And just, yeah, in a very quiet manner, Blame F has made it to 18 frags already.
Yeah, I know. It's not like we expect seeing the same performance or expecting to see the same brutal performance, but
yeah, every single time.
Yeah, but he keeps doing it, and it's not like it's been a massive. It's been obvious, should I say?
Yeah, it hasn't been a Blame F game, to put it that way. Like, it's not like he's the only one we're thinking about. I think Freiburg's had a great game in terms of impact so far early on. It's just Blame F's just very consistently been picking up frags here and there.
And all multi-frags as well.
Yeah, 137 ADR to his name right now.
It's just incredible sort of how he's performed in this Heroic roster. He came into it after being sort of the star player of Epsilon. He was just dominating the opposition. Finally gets a spot on Heroic, and he's in-game leading. That was a big sort of question mark. Why is he the in-game leader?
Completely inexperienced player on the top level. Put him into an in-game leading role, and yeah, it leads to Heroic playing better than ever.
And while he is also playing like a beast, which is definitely something that a lot of players cannot do. And it will be Freiburg coming right in towards the apartments. Look at this aggression. Freiburg with a spray. 3 kills coming in. And that has pretty much obliterated Windigo's chances.
Yeah, we talked about Freiburg having impact as well. That's his 17th frag before he gets taken down by ships.
There's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah. Just finds the perfect timing, really, and handles the spray nicely to find a 3rd eventually, too. And if you ever want to put a bit of a damper on whatever plan there was on the side of Windigo, that was the way to do it. Bubble's going to pick up the op. But yeah, no real utility, so they're going to have to rely on their firepower to make it through here. There's been a rotation away, though, as the tag is going to move back towards the A bomb site. They're thinking to themselves that Windigo might have bailed out, but Stavin being patient, and he's going to be rewarded for it as well.
Well, there it is. Stavin will take away ships. And it's 9-6. Pretty crazy stuff coming in from Heroic. Slower start than they probably would have wanted. The 4 in a row coming in from Windigo. And then it went on just a big heap of runs for Heroic. They lost 2. It was a little bit of a hiccup, but recovered well again. So this pistol, it'll be important for both sides for completely different reasons. Windigo want to win the pistol to stay in this, and Heroic want to win the pistol so they can close it out quickly. And again, this is the map pick of Windigo. And we kind of already alluded to the fact that the rest of the maps in the series definitely favor Heroic. Here's the odds from GG.bet, certainly favoring Heroic even on Mirage. So this is starting to look a little bit shaky for Windigo.
Yeah, might be grim times ahead. 1.32 in favor of Heroic here. 3.16 for Windigo. So gradually the gap is increasing, and I mean it's been increasing for the last 4 rounds as well, just a lead for Heroic. Finishing off the half, 9-6, not bad at all. I'm assuming this, I guess, initial pause right here is not a tactical from either of the sides. It might just be a technical issue. Hopefully it's not a too severe one. We did see yesterday that Windigo had, I think it was Poison who dropped out at one point. Luckily it wasn't too big of a deal. Came back rather swiftly, so yeah. So far so good in that department.
Yeah, touching wood, we haven't had as many problems so far in the Chicago Invitational in terms of technical difficulties.
It's been rather smooth in that sense, and you'd hope that actually continues. Obviously, you don't want the last day marred with problems and disconnects and so on. And we do have Force coming up. They're definitely hoping to have a better final day at this Invitational than what they did versus Liquid.
Indeed. I still feel bad for them.
Oh, no, it really does, because it felt like they had a legitimate chance of taking that third map to an overtime and potentially knocking Liquid out. That actually would have meant that we would have seen, well, I think it's very likely that with the way Force were playing, they'd beaten G2 obviously earlier in the tournament, we could have seen Force being the one to grab the spot for Cologne, which obviously starts in a couple of days. Yeah. That would have been pretty wild.
That would have been ridiculous.
But, I mean, if they can get Chicago as a bit of a consolation prize, it's not a bad thing either. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, Poison, he's going to be sent up towards the window. USP in hand, but it's near to Safix that will finish him off. So the Glock rattling shots towards window, and it's Freiburg with a kill as well. Certainly a good start here from Heroic, and that is disgusting. So clean that it's disgusting.
So, and he's going to follow up on it as well. Finds Bubble. That leaves Victor to his lonesome, and well, he's not going to be able to duke it out versus the 4 remaining Heroic members. You can see S-Attack already cut off his escape route. And down he goes. Nearly flawless pistol round on the side of Heroic.
There's nothing you can do against a team that's just feeling every single player. You know, if you're near the Safix, you're playing well. You're feeling your aim. Freiburg's playing well. You've got Blim F who's fragging as well. It's such a scary team when everyone's playing well. And you know, you've actually got a lot of new talent within the Danish rosters. You know, it's not the same old guys being recycled. These are brand new players.
They kind of went away from that with this Heroic lineup, which is why we're seeing a fair few new names. I mean, obviously they've been around on the scene. Stavin used to play for Fragster, who attended international events towards the end of their tenure. NATO Safix has obviously been around for quite some time. But he had to go the long route via Germany to find his way back into a Danish top team.
He also infected the German team with Danes.
Yeah, that is very true, actually.
He just brought Percy in and
wanted it to feel like home, right?
Yeah.
Well, Percy, Console, a lot of players. Well, Console actually might have been alternate attacks in Hunden, now that I think about it. But yeah, no, there's definitely been some Danish invasions of German teams here and there. But I think both sides benefit from it as well. Like the Germans get to learn or look at the game in a little bit of a different way, and you also get a pretty decent level of, you know, on the team that you're playing against. It might be better than playing for, you know, the 5th or 6th best team in Denmark if you can play for some of the very best ones in Germany. Right now, Heroic are making quick work of this Seeker round. Bomb's already gone down. Stavin with the Krieg is going to start looking for more frags.
I think his Cyclone was the player.
Cyclone, yes, that's the one.
I kind of remembered very quickly.
Old Singularity member with Mertz, those guys. And it is kind of funny. I think they even played together in Optimum way back when. But it's a lot of these players that obviously have their cross paths at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
During their I guess, amateur careers.
I don't think a Danish player sits without a team for that long.
Yeah, that is very true, though.
Mertz seems to be sitting, though. I think he's the one player that is a little bit unlucky when it comes to to teams.
I mean, there is still chances. I mean, you have the remains of the Fragsters teams, obviously. You have some new talent and players like Toft and that kind of thing. So there's definitely, you know the foundation to make something exciting for someone like Mertz to take part of and potentially work his way back into.
Yeah, there's that magnitude team as well. He could maybe go to. Yeah,
that is very true. So there's a lot of good things going on for Danish Counter-Strike. If it wasn't good enough already with Astralis.
Well, here comes the push. It's Chips trying to hold it off, and it's going to be the kill on the S-Attack. He's going to be looking back for a little bit more as they start to come on in, but that's unfortunate. It's down. We'll take him away. And, oh, wow. Bubble went through the bench with a headshot. Blim F will say no. And it's into a 3v3. Still, Windigo doing a great job at making this work for them. Down is in the other end of the smoke. He's left alone. 1v3 has to come through here. He's biding his time, hiding behind the smoke, desperately looking for some sort of player to extend a little bit too far so he can pick it off, but it's not going well for him.
He seems ever so slightly paranoid, just hearing shots being fired everywhere, not really sure where to look. And eventually it's just going to be too much for him as the smoke starts to evaporate.
Interesting just that Heroic decided to just rush B.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that is kind of the knockout punch that you need against a CT side that hasn't quite got going. It's the first buy round. Maybe you're expecting just a default to come out of the play from the T side.
Yeah, they're not going to have a whole lot of utility, Molotovs and things like that.
So you can't really fault Heroic for trying something to that effect. It's just not very successful at the end of the day. Doesn't really stop them from rebuying though. That's a tag with the Krieg. This is always like such an interesting battle. Who's going to see who first through the smoke when it starts to dissipate? We're not going to get that part. Blocker actually gets a bit of a combo in there. Finds Stavin just haphazardly behind. Even though Freiburg comes in with one trade, Poison's in a good position to deal with it. NATO's going to fall in B-Abs. So Blame F, as good as you've been so far, 20 frags as it stands. It's going to require quite something for him to be able to bring this back for Heroic. And you can tell the positioning is pretty decent from Victor.
So, Windigo, 2 in a row. Could this be the turnaround needed?
Might be starting to bring it back here. It's going to be an eco coming in from Heroic as well. So, Windigo looking to notch a 9th. Here we go, just completely accidental, but you take it when it happens. Blocker more or less just deciding that round on his own. Now then, what kind of rocket train are we going to see out of Heroic here? Or is this just their way of taking a bit of a timeout?
This is beautiful.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, no, this is definitely Heroic kind of talking things through, what they want to do in the last or next buy round without having to use one of their timeouts.
It's probably their best strategy yet.
Yeah, no, it's the infamous tank. I'm actually really sad about the fact that you can't do quad boosts and that kind of stuff in CSGO.
That would be so awesome.
Actually, you can't even do triple boosts without being supported by...
Yeah, some sort of wall. Or
yeah. I think that allowed for a lot of creativity with players, obviously. And I think on a map, I guess it might be a little bit too much considering you have maps like Vertigo. No, well, not just Vertigo, but Overpass. Yeah, I think Overpass obviously would be the big one. We've seen already what innovative boosts can do on that map.
I'm sure there's some crazy boosts that haven't been attempted just yet on Vertigo that we'll eventually find.
That is definitely true. There's a lot of exploring to be done there. We're not going to see Vertigo in this matchup. Can't say I'm too saddened about that fact, but might see it later on today as Blocker finds 2 there. Freiburg's going to get the trade, but still man advantage for Windigo and just 1 weapon picked up. Stavin's rocking a Glock, so can't really rely on him to do all that much. Would just be a bit of a distraction and allow for Freiburg to get up towards steps and potentially pick up Victor. Instead, it's going to be the other way around. Glock, I mean, it does net 1 headshot, but at that kind of a distance, it's not really going to do a whole lot.
Not a bad round, though, from Heroic, getting a couple of kills, but
yep.
Wendigo should be happy enough. They got the AWP in the hands of Poison again. Something that we've seen a lot yesterday from Windigo was the double AWP setup between Ships and Poison.
Yeah, and it was more often than not really efficient.
Yes, super efficient. It was a big factor as to why they were even able to turn it around against Nordavind. And I think they realized that was a winning factor for them, so they just continued to play throughout the day, obviously battering Hellraisers on the last 2 maps.
Yeah, no, Hellraisers just really got a bit of a spanking versus Windigo once we got into it. And it started off so well, too. Poison finds the first, but is traded out. Well, Stavin not too far off from potentially finding Bubble on Catwalk.
Ooh, Freiburg's just getting spammed. Victor actually able to pick that one up, and Freiburg's probably kicking himself about that one. Man advantage for Windigo.
Yet again. Boost going to come in. Blame F. Ooh, that's a fair bit of noise. So, yeah, they have to cancel out those plans. Blocker's going to make sure that there's nobody else around. But now they have to be a little bit worried about somebody potentially going through CPL because they don't have really any confirmation of someone making it up or not. You can also see Ships is posted up in a passive position outside of Murder Hole. Smoke goes in for top connector. And you would imagine that's to allow Blame F to kind of sit inside a connector while they rotate around towards one of the bomb sites. With them going towards B, that actually much... Oh, look at the timing here from Blame F. He's been real quick about this. There we have it. So the jig is up. They know what's happening, but NATO's going to win out the duel versus Bubble as well. And Ships unscoping at the wrong time. Also misses the shot, and this is just falling apart in a matter of seconds. BlameF with the immediate push through the smoke up into connector. Sets everything off for a real bad time for Windigo. They were looking so primed to get double figures. Just like that. It was a really nice shot from NATO Safix as well, being able to win at the duel versus Bubble. Immediate headshot to open up that B-bomb site. Victor now just going to have to try to hold on to his weapon going into round 22.
So Heroic back to winning ways. With a hiccup as Windigo won a few, but Heroic want to try and close the game. It's only 4 away from them doing that. And again, it's pretty good to see that Heroic don't have a large disparity between the top and the bottom fraggers on their team. Quite even across the board. Most players are on the same kill count, and it's good to see Freiburg performing as well. So Heroic have a lot going for them at the minute, and Windigo, it's not really to be said the same here in terms of their cash, right? They've only got 2k on Bubble, 2k on Ships, but they seem to want to go for the force buy. They're going to invest everything into it. Victor has 7k in the bank, so he can definitely be a player that can drop some weapons on over, and the buy is not going to be too bad here from Windigo. Again, lacking some utility, but as long as they get rifles into the hand, they can still compete. Whereas Heroic, they need to sort of get that info early that they do have something to work with in this one.
They kind of need that at this point. Now then, what can they offer up with what they've been able to muster together here? The Augs are back in play. I guess the bigger issue is the fact that they don't really have an op to go up against S-Attack here. None of those early potential pickoffs. Bubble definitely wants to get aggressive here.
Well, Bubble's just going to walk right through the smoke, and that'll be a kill on the S-Star. He finds the follow-up as well. Astown can't quite get it done, and so it's a man advantage on the CT side as Bubble's on 1 HP. But the kill still comes in onto BlameF, and so Freiburg and Nero Safix at 2v4. Freiburg will pick up 1 kill onto Victor towards jungle. Molotov ready to go in towards connector. 1 minute and 5 seconds left. Ships, it can't really help from the connector, so Poison will go on in with AWP and look over the top of the Fire and Flames. The flashbang comes in perfect there from Heroic. Now allow Freiburg to push up closer towards CT, and the bomb plants come in.
Nicely solved from Heroic so far, but they still have quite the task to do. NATO peering over the smoke. It's going to have a pretty good angle at, well, most avenues for the CT side, but they might not be expecting Ships rotation in from the pit.
Oh, well, Heroic are trying to play this one pretty advanced. They want to try and get that kill back, but 1 kill coming in, as that is all they'll get here on the back of Nero Safix. His Poison will clear it up, and it's double figures for Windigo. They certainly are not done yet. They still want to compete. Heroic, every time they win one, it seems as though Windigo are not giving up. They're still in this.
They're ready to answer. And while they didn't start out the round with an op, Poison's managed to find it in top mid, and that's the 2 last frags. Really good to see, and it's not immediate aggression into mid from Windigo. It's a set play in a big sense as well, and it works out so nicely for them. Bubble having 1 more player to push top mid with him, and again setting on the pressure, making sure that they've got it covered off, like any sort of re-aggression from underpass. I tell that that's something they've worked on.
Well, Ships, you can use it here with the AUG. It's going to be the kill on the Nero Safix. Man advantage there on the CT side. Astown tries to run around the corner. It'll be the UMP taking 1 kill, but Poison steps in again. So back and forth, but it's a 3v3. And Heroic trying to get on towards the bomb side, but Ships always playing with the smokes. This time he will be dropped by Freiburg, punished for it. But Blocker moves in towards the right. His teammates are falling behind him though, so he's alone. A 1v3 is needed. They know exactly where he is thanks to that, but still, he's attempting it, and BlameF will stay alive on 2 HP. Very fortunate.
Just staying in it, but it's enough for Heroic to get to 13th. And as we look at the scoreboard, 23 frags to BlameF, 22 on Freiburg as well, so you can definitely see who's leading the charge for the Heroic side. Over on Windigo, it's Poison at 22 as well. doing his damnedest to keep them in this. The problem for Windigo right now, as there has been a post called, is the fact that they don't really have money. So as good of a job it was to bring it back in that previous one, immediately getting reset is going to do them a world of hurt. They might actually have to go for a double eco, which sounds really awful, especially because that means that Heroic are most likely going to get to 15, but we'll see though. Just 1,500 to their name. I mean, they do have, I guess, some of the loss bonus still going for them. Obviously, it doesn't completely reset anymore with the new money system. So it might actually be fine with a single one, but it's not going to be the most ideal buy. And you can see one of the players that are fairly low on money is Poison, and you do want an op in his hand with the way he's been playing. Yeah, 0 investment from Windigo outside of Poison. Actually, Poison's buying down pretty much sets him outside of the potential of getting an op, so that's going to have to be dropped for him if they're going to work with that. Stag spots at least a leg, and he's going to spot a whole lot more. It's going to be NATO to get the brunt of the initial kills. Ooh, and they're doing well for themselves to fend that off.
Yeah,
NATO with 4. Yeah.
Well, 2 away here. Heroic from taking their opponent's map pick, giving themselves a buffer in the first semi-final.
Yeah, I think NATO started the half with 5 kills, and now he's sitting at 17. So
yeah, sick pistol run as well.
Most definitely, he got into the groove of things, and I think we've seen, I guess, similar performances from most of the players when we've seen Heroic play Mirage. I think it's off of the back of just positioning, how they play out their rounds and how they set up retics and everything that allows some players to get more into the action than not. Obviously, we've seen them being pretty proactive on their CT sides, and NATO is rarely one of the players who's part of that, which is why it doesn't get to see too much fun, if you want to call it that. PlayMF has already found an opening. Aggressive push into apps. Blocker goes down, and the buy here is not perfect by any means, but Poison has shown himself to be pretty proficient with a scout as well. Doesn't need an op, just need an extra tag. He's going to be good for 2. And that's him the first kill. Flash not going to bother Victor, but position given up, and now he's been in a bit of a rough spot. Runs right into NATO. NATO's even going to do significant damage on the ships.
Pushes every smoke. Oh, wow. The second coming in as well. Ships knows how to play with the smokes. Reaps the reward as well as Essetag finally puts an end to him. Nice shot on the Poison. A third coming in from Essetag. And when things look like they might have a chance to Windigo, Essetag just puts them to bed. 15-10.
15-10. And dire straits for Windigo. No real money to work with here as well. 3.7 being the most in total on their team. Lots on ships. He's going to go for the M4, and he received just PlayMF with the aggressive play through apps. Blocker not expecting it.
Oh, this was disgusting from ships.
You don't think he's going to win out that second duel versus Stavin, but someone makes it work. And then, yeah, with a picked up, Essetag finds the last 2.
Yeah, it's just good that he has the information of where they are. He can just sort of straight away know where to look, know where they are, and collect the kills.
Speaking of information, PlayMF definitely knows there's somebody in underpass, but not going to be able to deal with it. Yeah. Really wanting to get that Molotov out kind of messes up his positioning and allows for Bubble to aggress.
Yeah, that's always frustrating, and it's actually looking pretty good for Windigo here until round it. They probably shouldn't be winning, but they're going to make it happen.
Doing the most out of it. Stavin's going to find 1 return. Bubbles picked up a second one as well. He found Freiberg after getting the AK to his name. So Stavin, 30 HP, 1 on 4. Molotov's going to go down, but they've already vacated that area. Bombs down towards Pit as well. And you do kind of wonder what he's going to be able to do in this one. He's about to get flanked as well from Blocker. So that kill on ships, nice enough, but he's about to go down.
Oh my, well, okay.
Don't worry about it. It's still a kill.
It's never easy, though. A team can never close it out. When they hit 15, you know, even if they won a load in a row, it's just that next draw they never win.
Seems to be pretty tough, but one thing that isn't pretty tough is, I guess, yeah, expecting who's going to be in the lead here as we see the odds from GG.bet. Heroic heavily favored to close this one out. 9.15 in favor of Windigo being able to bring this back to overtime and then potentially win. I mean, yeah, you kind of have to admit it's not looking too likely.
Well, we've seen this happen quite a bit. Execute coming in. Heroic are going to be the team that throws the smokes. Molotov coming in, reply that hopefully will slow them. they'd like to hope, but here it's a perfect execute. Blocker, it moves forward in front of the bench, and Heroic need to be careful as the CTs are not playing this one passively. They want to go take the fight here, Windigo, and the kills are coming in from Victor right through the smoke. Great stuff done. Finally, BlameF will reply, but it's not looking so easy here for Heroic as Victor's just steamrolling them right through the smoke again. Esatag, he stepped up for Heroic in the previous. Time to make it happen again. As soon as BlameF, they have to be the duo. It's all on BlameF for 1v3. He's been spotted, and I think it's just Victor there. It's just, he's done with it. He just wants to push right through the smoke, get 3.
He doesn't want this to go to 3. He wants to get his own map pick and get into overpass. Potentially steal that away. BlameF really has been a man for big occasions for Heroic so far. This could be another one.
We've seen some ridiculous clutches from him in this tournament so far.
We definitely have. First, though, he needs to be able to deal with the player in spawn. His jump peeking, just barely. Not going to be able to get the connection on it. Oh,
can't get the Molotov off either.
It's not going to know about the switch up in position over towards Firebox. Still gets the adjustment, though.
At this point, Poison's a little bit scared. He doesn't exactly want to run over the top, but he will eventually. There we go.
Yeah.
PT50 connects to the head of BlameF and 15-12.
Just wanted to wait until Ships was near enough to potentially get a trade. So that's well done. Patient play from the young player. A 12th round for Windigo. So still fighting, still in this. And now we're going to see double op set up back in the hands of Windigo. It's been so good for them on, well, so many different series in the past. Heroic on there and don't really have too much money. Catwalk jump successful. Ships, okay. It's going to move forward as well. He might get caught out here by the forward positioning. Flash is going to miss, and there he goes. That's a tag to find the opening kill. He's also going to pick up the op. Bomb is dropped.
What a miserable end this would be.
Oh, God. That's a tag. Hasn't had the craziest of games so far, but really coming alive here towards the end with the op.
He's got 3 kills already. He would love to pick up the ace, but BlameF has got an M4A. Boy, another one from Esatag. Just one more to find. It's Victor who has to come in clutch. A 1v3 needs to happen if he wants to keep his team alive here. He goes in. It's going to be BlameF that seals the deal. What a rod to win off the back of. Heroic just rush B with pistols, and they get a 16-12 victory.
Yeah, you could just kind of see it fermenting in front of you, right? Like Chips with the aggressive positioning. The second he jumps up on balcony, you just know he's so exposed to any sort of flash, and the fact that Esatag has been able to get up to that close corner without him noticing. It kind of had it in the air, right?
Yeah.
And it spirals completely out of control. I definitely didn't expect Esatag to necessarily get that many kills, but yeah, you could see him just making some things awkward for Windigo and putting them into a bad situation, and he really did that in a big way.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of depth across Heroic. It wasn't just the BlameF show, even though he finished the top of the scoreboard. 27 kills.
I think we saw pretty solid performances out of most players on Heroic. We saw great rounds from NATO. We saw obviously from Esatag to close out the game. Freiburg was strong out through the entire game. I think the only one that I guess we didn't really see a highlight out of was Stavin, but again, just solid contributions across the board from Heroic, and now they get to go into their own map pick.
Well, indeed they do. The next map will be their pick. It's coming up on Overpass, and that will be very... It is Overpass, right?
Yeah, it is Overpass.
Okay, I had this sort of dot in my head, but there we go. It's Overpass coming up next. So make sure you stick with us. We're going to be going to Overpass.